What up everyone, this is AZN here. Today you guys are watching another figure review, and this time it is on the Total Anime Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan by Jazwares. Now this is a toy line that I very recently just found out during, I believe it was somewhere around like San Diego Comic-Con was going on. I first was aware of this line, and I believe this is a licensed collaboration between Crunchyroll and Jazwares, if I'm not mistaken. But this line immediately caught my attention because not only because how good it looked for the price that we're getting it for, but also because it's an anime toy line by Jazwares. And I've been familiar with Jazwares before. I only knew them from their Sonic toy line. I didn't really buy anything else from them. So this is my first experience with a Jazwares toy in a very long time, aside from maybe some of the Sonic toys I used to own as a kid. So the fact that they're doing an anime toy line, it's really cool. And it's also taking inspirations from like the import style figures, you know, like Figure Arts and Figma and all that. So I do have a lot of good things to say about this figure. There is a few flaws as well that I am going to get into the review. So there's a lot to talk about with this figure, and I genuinely think this is a good figure, especially if you're like a budget collector of anime figures. I think this is definitely going to be like the next big anime domestic toy line, and I think this is going to easily blow anything that's by Dragon Stars and anime heroes. So without wasting too much time, let's get into the box and the rest of the segments. So a quick look at the box here. We have a anime profile of Eren, of course, Attack on Titan logo, streaming out on Crunchyroll. I mean, if you have a Crunchyroll account, I mean, you know, you already kind of knew that. I wouldn't say kind of, but you already knew. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, we have the number 1, which I'm assuming this is the very first figure in this line, if I'm not mistaken. We also have Eren Yeager, Total Anime. On this side, nothing much going on there. Nothing much going on here either, but the logo and also the number of the first figure that is released in this line. In the back, we have a pose of Eren with all of his accessories, of course, with the ODM, and it says Attack on Titan. In the bottom, we have say collect all Total Anime. We also have a few other figures that's already released in this line. The Chainsaw Man one, I don't think it's out yet. I don't think it's coming out until like the next month or two. I'm not really sure, but this actually looks really good. So yeah, anyway, we got like Deku right there, Yuji, and also Anya. These 3 got released around the same time as the Eren. Like I already said, Chainsaw Man's not out yet, but all these look pretty good, to be honest. I only paid like $20 for this figure from Amazon, so he's available now. I got him yesterday. And yeah, so that's it about the box. For accessories, he comes with these 2, I want to say like splayed open hands. He also have 2 ball fist hands and also gripping hands for carrying his weapons, known as the ODM gear. These are actually the default hands, and I say this is a fair amount of hands, at least I think so. Swapping and pegging the hands are pretty simple. You just plug them in just like that, and I have no struggle putting these in at all. That is great. So yeah, here they are. His hands, or his fist hands, are fully pegged in. For faces, he has this stoic face, one that is screaming, and this last one being a teeth gritted face with the markings after he got out of his Titan. And this is actually the default face, and swapping these faces out is really easy. They work just like a Figure Arts, so you just pop the face off, and they feel way smoother too. They don't feel cheap or like it's gonna break. Nothing feels fragile at all. Like this is really a feel-good figure, if that even exists. I'm just saying anything, to be honest, but like swap out the faces. It's really easy. That's all you gotta, that's all you really need to know. And yeah, and of course it's not an Attack on Titan figure without the iconic ODM gear. Now, how to peg these in, you have to, this peg goes right into his back, so just put it in there like so. And oh, I didn't swap out the gripping hands, oh well. But the grip hands go on there pretty good. Well, not really, they don't go in there all that good, and neither does the ODM gear itself. They actually have a tendency to fall off, and I feel like they should have made the peg hole a little bit deeper. But so you just pretty much just put that in there, and you can move it around, but like I already said, it doesn't stay in there for that long. Like, it has a tendency to pop out, so that's the only real issue I have with this accessory. But it's pretty good. I also kind of wish that these wires were actually, well, not wires, I kind of wish the string piece were wired so you can actually bend them instead of this softer wire. I feel like a bendy wire would have been a better choice for this. But aside from that, it looks pretty good. And another cool thing about this accessory is that it has a peg joint right here that can actually move, so you don't have to worry about it breaking when you like peg it in. So I think that was a really cool decision that they made. I just wish that they made this part deeper. I might have to drill it on my own to see if I can make it fit a bit better. Aside from that, it's a pretty good accessory. The last accessory he has is this stand. So you just simply peg it in and then boom, there we go. I'm honestly glad that they did came with a stand, although I would have preferred if we had like a, you know, like a stand that's like similar to a Tamashi stand. I feel like that would have been cool. And speaking of the stand, you can actually take this back piece off to plug in like a stand. I would demonstrate it, but I honestly don't feel like going to my shelf right now to show it. But I'm just showing off the fact that you can actually peg that in. So I thought that was really cool. So after getting the peg on here, after doing my sweaty ass hands, I hate when it happens when I swap out a figure. That shit is annoying. Anyway, but I finally got it back in. So as I was saying, like, you can use a Tamashi stage to plug this in. It won't fit in all that well. That's kind of the reason why that I feel like it should have came with that same exact stand. And there's also an exclusive version of this too that did came with a stand and also with a wired cape, which I also feel like should have came with this figure. But it is what it is, I guess. The sculpt and the detail on this figure, for something that's like $20, this looks really good. Now, although not being around Figma level of detail, it's still really damn good for something that's like I already said, for like something that's like close to being $20. And there's only so much they can do with this budget, of course, so it's not gonna be exactly like the Figma, but I am expecting it to look decent enough to still keep around my collection, and this figure doesn't fail in that department at all. Like, I really like the face. It looks really well done. It still looks a lot like Eren. And yeah, I don't really have that many complaints about it, except for one though, which is the shirt. The shirt is like in this yellow-ish type of color, which I don't know how they made that mistake. And I thought I misremembered something from the character design from the show, because like, you know, like, it's been a while since I watched the anime, aside from me watching last season, of course, so I couldn't remember how their outfit or like the color of the shirt actually looked. But it's supposed to be like this beige type of color. That's That's what I know for sure. And this one is just straight up yellow, and I don't know how they did that, so that bothers me. But the rest of the figure itself looks really solid. And also another nitpick I have, like, I don't remember his scout symbol looking that small on the side of his jacket, so that's another thing that bothers me. But other than that, this figure looks amazing, and everything is pinless too, which is also like another plus right there. So that's pretty much it about the sculpting. So for scaling, here he is standing next to the NECA Leonardo from the last Ronin series, and also the Jada Toys Mega Man. And here he is standing next to the SHF Adult Gohan from the Dragon Ball Super movie, the SH Figure Arts Denji, and also the Jada Toys Ryu. Now, I do feel like he scales pretty decently. Now, it is worth pointing out that Eren is actually 6.5 inches, so he's not exactly 6 inches like, you know, the Gohan and Denji, and not even Ryu. So he is a little bit out of scale, but it's not as noticeable. You can't finagle your way with the scale with the other anime imports, but just to know that he will be a bit taller than most of them. So I feel like that's something that is worth pointing out. The articulation on him, it's really good. So his head can go not really that much, but it can tilt side to side, can look down pretty good. There's also a neck joint at the bottom that helps him with his range. The neck can also go side to side as well, can do his 360. Around the arms, we got a single joint in there, a single ball joint that can go sideways that far. And thankfully this jacket is soft, so it doesn't get away from its posability at all. So I think that's really good. Wait, is that a butterfly joint? Wow, they actually added a butterfly joint. I didn't know that. But yeah, that can go back, even forward, thanks to that butterfly joint that I did not know that was in the figure. So that's great. And around the bicep can do a 360. They have like a double jointed elbow, so that can bend really good, like really good. And got like a wrist joint going on right there. Around the torso, it can go side to side, and so is the bottom, so it helps him give more range. And around the thigh area, it can swivel. There's also a drop down system, just like we have with some of the DBZ figures, so that bends pretty good. He also can do the splits really good as well too. So yeah, this figure can really pose. And we also have double jointed knees, so that can bend pretty far. And there's like an ankle pivot right there. It can go that far in and that far back. So yeah, the articulation on this figure is really solid. I was not expecting the figure to feel this good. It doesn't feel perfect. Like there are some areas that does feel slightly loose, such as the legs right here, and also the torso was like very loose when I first took him out the package. But thankfully I used some fixed loose joints for that. You can just get it off from eBay to tighten that up. But other than that, this is a really solid budget anime figure. I'm really am impressed with this thing. Like, this is making me excited for Kaneki that's about to come out, because if Eren is already this good with articulation and get him into like a decent amount of poses, I honestly can't wait until Kaneki comes out, because I feel like that's definitely gonna be a banger of a figure, especially if you get him into like these kind of poses. Well, you can't really do it with Eren, but I feel like with Kaneki you can get him into those like Spider-Man like poses. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting that figure. But with Eren here, although there is some room for improvement, overall this is a really solid figure. I'm definitely gonna buy more from this line for sure, like most definitely. My final thoughts on this figure: this is a very solid domestic anime figure release. I'm really impressed with Jazwares have did with Eren, and the articulation is really good. The accessories can use a little bit more work, especially with the ODM gear, because I feel like the ODM gear just falls off too easily. And also, hopefully, I doubt very seriously that they'll do this, but hopefully if they re-release this figure, they'll correct the coloring on his shirt. It's supposed to be beige, not really yellow. But other than that, this is a solid release, especially for this price. Like, I only paid about like $20 something for this on Amazon, and I heard that in Target it's supposed to be even cheaper. It's supposed to be around like the $16 price range. So I feel like this is a really good figure to buy, especially for your parents out there that's also into anime, and if your kids are also into anime and into collecting. I think this is a really good starter for them to buy these type of figures. I feel like this is a lot. I can definitely see like a lot of kids getting into these type of figures in particular if they can't afford like the import ones such as Figmas and SH Figure Arts. And I think this is also a good alternative for people who missed out on the Figma one, myself included, and I think it's a pretty good alternative until I can afford the Figma. And I also know that Deku and Itadori and also Anya is out. I'm not too sure if I'll be getting those. I'm just focused on the ones that I haven't got the import versions of, and Eren just happened to be one of them. So I'm definitely gonna buy more from this line for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to the Kaneki, and I hope they do more figures like outside from the ones that we're getting as of currently. Like, I really hope they do like a Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho would be a pretty dope addition to this line, especially considering the fact that we never got a figure arts or a Figma of him. So I really hope in some point in the future that they will make a Mob Psycho. I don't know what other figures that they can make, because I heard that they also licensed over 50 anime. From what I heard, I'm probably misremembering. I think it might have been a bit more than 50. But this is a really solid start to this line. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting more from this line. So enough of me bragging. My final rating on this figure is an 8 out of 10. Now, it's not a perfect figure. There is some flaws that I did point out, but for the price that you're getting it for, this is definitely an 8 out of 10 figure. So yeah, so anyway, this has been AZN. This concludes my review on the Total Anime Eren Yeager by Jazwares. Hope you all like this video, and I hope you all have a great and safe day, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.